keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tell.
Hey everybody, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 here, and my students like to call me Coach Joe. Test anxiety, performance anxiety, standardized test scores. I mean, this is all we hear about, and we know how important standardized test scores are for college or in a student's journey, right? And the most problem or the biggest killer when it comes to test scores is test anxiety, because students usually are so nervous. There's so much riding on the SAT, ACT scores that they just taken over, they blank out. Although they know the subject very well, they don't perform to their best because of test anxiety. And I've been constantly in the lookout for finding techniques, methods that could help alleviate or calm students, right? It's not that they don't want to perform well. It's just the nerves and the amount of pressure that all of us put on them, right? And recently, I came across a study that was done in the Norristown High School, where a teacher who was a pranic healer taught something called as super yoga technique and some kind of creative visualization combined with meditation and everything. And there was an amazing result that came out. Students were less stressed, they performed better, and their exam and their test scores was really enhanced. So I also heard about another person, Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐒𝐿. She's actually a pediatrician and a pranic healer. And I heard that she's been experimenting and using many techniques and helping students with overcoming the performance anxiety. And I heard a curious story where she even tried it on her son for 6 weeks and saw tremendous results. And I was very curious about what this whole thing was, right? I mean, isn't pranic healing for adults? I mean, I had so many questions, and I really wanted to explore and see whether this was a worthwhile technique that all of our students could implement. So that's the reason I invited Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞. Welcome, Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞. Thank you so much for coming here. And yeah, please share our journey. I mean, introduce yourself.
Thanks for inviting me, Joe. And it's really my pleasure to share what I have learned and what I've experienced. And hopefully this can help to serve other kids as well, other teens as well. So as a pediatrician, I've been very acutely aware of the stresses that teens are under, especially in today's world. The degree of competition is far greater than anything that we ever experienced in our lives. The expectation is far higher. And to me, this has also created a kind of another monster, which is in order to perform to that expectation, the kids unfortunately are under so much stress, and that manifests itself as anxiety, and probably at the worst possible time, right in the middle of the test, or as soon as they walk into the exam hall, open up the computer, they just blank out. And even though they have really worked hard on the material, they know the material, but it's like a fog descends and they just can't see past that fog. So when I was introduced to pranic healing, which is a non-touch healing technique, one of the ways that I became curious about is how this could help with anxiety. Now being a mother of 3 teenagers and seeing, the anxiety manifesting in our family, I was very curious to see if this would actually help right at home. And as Joe was telling that story, My son is very good at math, but just didn't show up. That would not translate into any of his standardized tests because he would completely blank out, and he would tell me, I just like the words just don't make sense when I'm reading them during the test. But he knew the material completely well outside of the testing situation. So we did it as an experiment. The teacher was very much on board, and we said, let's give him 6 weeks. I was doing the healing, which I'll explain a little bit about. And within 6 weeks, he was not only able to complete that year's course, he actually completed the following year's course, and he was able to advance 2 math levels higher. Now he's in the highest track for math in the school district. So that to me was personal testimony to the power of pranic healing, particularly relating to test anxiety. And since then, I've used it on friends and other family members, and we've seen a tremendous reduction in the the way their stress manifests and the anxiety manifests, especially in these kind of situations.
That's wonderful. The reason why I invited you is August 27th is a very critical time because that is the SAT and there are no new dates that are there. And it's a critical time for students. And it seems to be almost like a last chance or a last ditch effort. So I see a lot of stress, anxiety in that. And how is it that you can help students with that? And what is the success rate, and why should people even consider it?
I think we're speaking at a very opportune time because we have a course going on right now, which is just going to start this coming weekend on August 6th. And it's designed as a 3-part series. The participants will learn how to do super brain yoga, which you talked about. And that has been proven to activate the energy centers within the brain and to improve retention, recall, as well as just producing a sense of confidence and calm to the participants. So they will learn that technique. Along with that, they will also learn how to visualize, creative visualization, because studies, there have been several studies that have shown that creative visualization allows the subconscious mind to actually wire the neurons and wire the neural pathways in such a way that the body now and the related mechanisms now expect that result to occur. So what you expect is what you get. So if a child has, or any person has anxiety, they walk into that situation and their nerves are already expecting to be anxious. They're expecting to be stressed out. So if they can learn how to wire their neurons differently, their brain differently, the expectation is different, and that will become their reality. They will also learn a breathing technique that can help them to induce calmness, as whenever they're stressed, which then can clear that fog that we talked about and produce that clarity so that they can recall the material, they can understand the problems, and they can get through the test in great confidence. They will and as a bonus, they will also learn how to activate certain energy centers within the body, which are also known as chakras. They will learn to activate the energy centers that can produce that quicker recall, that produce that quicker calmness, and produce a sense of confidence. So they learn multiple techniques that they can use very quickly in that exam setting, sitting there right in front of their computer screens, going through the test. They can employ any one of these techniques, and they'll be able to, get to that state of calmness, get to that state of confidence, and that'll help their recall, that'll help their retention as well. And they can do this even as they're learning the material. So it's not just something that they would do on the day of the test, but they would do this all along as they're learning the material.
That sounds wonderful. Can you please tell us what is this pranic healing? I mean, what is this? And it's kind of surprising because you're an allopathic doctor, right? You're a pediatrician. You are a doctor of modern science, but you're practicing this pranic healing, which is the ancient healing method. So it's almost as if you're a doctor healer. So what is it?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. And I think you really summarized it well, a doctor healer. I've always been very curious about the human body, how the physical body connects with the mental and emotional bodies. And, and obviously I've been very interested in science. So all through my residency and my fellowship, I learned how the physical body works. And that's really, traditional medicine really provides us great tools with diagnosis and treatments for the physical body. But for me, the missing piece was, what about the emotional body? What about the mental body? And that really led me on my further quest to explore several techniques on, how could we help really treat the person as a whole and really help the person to truly heal, not just treat the disease or the symptoms. So that led me to pranic healing. And the reason why, so pranic healing itself is, as I said, it's a non-touch healing technique, can be done in person, can be done at a distance. And nowadays, with the Zoom technology serves, we've had great results doing it through Zoom technology. And it's based on two principles, and those are the principle of interconnectedness and the second principle of the body's innate ability to heal itself. So it's the pranic healing is a system that helps you to manage the energy and to convert the energy for where there is any lack of energy. You're able to give extra energy. And if there's other energies, unwanted energies, you also have the techniques to remove those energies. So, for example, if you have in your energy field, if you have thoughts of failure, thoughts of worry, thoughts of anger, these are all energies, okay? And they're all sitting almost like your windshield is covered by different spots. So then you're not able to see clearly, and that again creates more anxiety, more worry, and that's kind of adding to all the negative energy there. So with pranic healing, we have techniques where we are actually able to remove these energies, because everything is energy, and we can remove this. And so it's like literally picking it out, and then you can infuse the energy field, each person's energy field, with positive energy, with energies of confidence, energies of success, energies of good memory, and then that helps them then manifest that in their own lives. So this is what led me to pranic healing. I've been practicing pranic healing for over 2 decades now, nearly 2 decades. I'm a certified pranic healer as well as an instructor in the Pennsylvania area. And I've seen many truly miraculous healings across many different physical, mental, and emotional disorders. But my particular passion is to work with children, being a pediatrician. So that's where I am today. And I think you summarized it really well, being a doctor healer. And that's what I am.
Yeah, that's so amazing. We always associate meditation, calmness, and everything to adults, right? We feel like it's adults only who need to learn those techniques, but nobody really takes the time to teach kids to deal with anxiety, right? It's almost assumed that they automatically should get those skills and be perfect, right? So can you tell us more about the upcoming group session, or what you have planned in terms of what will you be teaching, and can parents also participate, or generally what you have in mind?
I think you said it really well. Kids or even adults, I think, are never really taught how to manage these kind of impending emotions that impede us from truly manifesting our best. And anxiety, I think, I'm seeing so much more of it nowadays with not just teens, but across the board with pediatric patients, that there is this increasing sense of anxiety. And I'm not sure whether it's coming from, being in such a digital world where there's expectation that everything happens so suddenly, simultaneously, or whether it's just the system that we have created. It's kind of a self-perpetuating system that there's expectation that everybody's performing, everybody's a superstar, right? So and that's why I thought of this program where we will teach the children and these techniques on how to manage this anxiety, these energies, right, of anxiety, of overwhelm. And this will lay the foundation to serve them not just for their immediate future, but even their long-term future. They'll continue to use this throughout their lives. And that, I hope, will be able to turn around this generation, that we can truly see them, exhibiting their best. Your question whether pranic healing is just for adults, and that's absolutely not true at all. It can be used down to even newborn babies. And I have a colleague who actually does it on unborn babies, and I have not tried that yet, but I have done it on babies who are neonates and even preemie babies, and they actually respond much faster than adults. You have to take certain precautions when you're doing it with very young children, but besides that, it can be used right across the board, right from newborns all the way to very old elderly people as well. And then the question of whether parents would be able to join the sessions, absolutely. This is meant as an entire package for the entire family, because what happens is, not that we do this in a very conscious way, but anytime as parents, whenever we think we worry about our children, we're concerned whether they will actually do well on their test, and we're concerned whether they will get into the college of their choice. What happens is these energies of worry actually go and sit on the child's energy field, and that perpetuates the anxiety even further. So we are very well intentioned, and believe me, being a mother, I do this all the time as well, but I have to catch myself and turn it around. So it's actually very good if the parents can also attend the session, because we'll also give techniques to the parents in order to be able to turn their feelings of worry about, their own anxiety about their child's future, turn that around into a positive way that can positively influence the child.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And I did dig up and saw the study or the project that was done in Norristown School, where they did use super yoga technique and pranic healing. Is it all right if I share the article and review that?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a published article.
Yes.
And it's it was a very well done study, and truly demonstrates the power of super brain yoga.
Yeah. So this is what I have here, where this study was done in the Norristown, Pennsylvania school district, where it was 37 students were in the study group, and they actually noticed that the students did dramatically well. They saw an increase in concentration of students and a noticeable improvement in their behaviors. So could you tell us a little bit more about what is this super brain yoga?
Sure. So super brain yoga is a technique of where the energy of the brain, and particularly the circuits of attention, recall, focus, are enhanced through super brain. It's derived from the ancient Indian technique of 𝐓𝐡𝐞 but it's been modified to ensure that the best results are produced. So if you ensure that there is a consistent way that you place your hand, positions, you use acupressure points, not acupuncture, but acupressure, and you do certain movements, the kind of the squatting and standing. And also there's a certain direction that you need to face to get optimal results. Interestingly, Super Brain Yoga, the study that was done that you just quoted here, the students that were inducted into the study were actually children who had both learning needs as well as some physical needs. So they all had IEPs, and obviously they had not been doing very well in the school. And at the end of one academic year, as the results showed, a good percentage of them were able to be inducted into the National Honor Society, as well as some of them even went into the gifted program. So, and all of them had completely normalized their study plans. They were no longer deemed as having learning disability. So it was a very, and they actually had a control group, so you could see whether it was just a placebo effect or whether there was truly an effect of Super Brain Yoga. So that, to me, it was a very elegantly done study, and something that, I think really proves beyond doubt the power of Super Brain Yoga. Interestingly, I've tried experimenting it on myself, and my kids, they become participants in my own studies. And we've noticed that every time that we do Super Brain Yoga before a test, my kids tend to do better on the test. And I've also not have them do Super Brain Yoga, and we've tried to see what happens, and we've seen that they don't do as well as they've done on the days that they actually do Super Brain Yoga. And personally, when I do the days I do Super Brain Yoga, I'm really on my game. I can recall everything really fast. I feel my brain is really charged up, and it's like as if you've had, an extra dose of caffeine or something. And the days that I don't do it, again, I can see that difference. So it's something that can be used across the board. It's been used for children with ADHD with great results. I personally have a friend who had an autistic child, and over a span of 2.5 years, that child was moved out of the autistic spectrum and was in a completely normal track. So it's truly an amazing and such a powerful technique, and yet very simplistic in its design, that everybody can remember how to do it. And it's easily done. It takes less than 30 seconds to do each session. I usually advise people to do it twice a day. So it's a minute entire day. In the entire day, it's a minute of your time, and it produces such marvelous results.
That's amazing. Is it time consuming to learn these techniques? Because, teens only have 7 seconds as their attention span. I mean, do they need to spend a lot of time to acquire the skills that you will be teaching? Is it going to be repetitious? What is it going to be like?
So the technique itself, like I said, is really very simple to learn. It takes only about 10-15 minutes to really understand all the elements that go together to learn Super Brain Yoga. And then consistency is the key, right? So we will do this in the session, but the participants need to continue to do it on their own every day. That's when you see the best results. But the learning itself is only a few minutes.
Got it. So that's what I'm looking forward to students enrolling in your program. The link to the program will be part of the description. Any questions that you have, you can post it here. And I'm looking forward to so many students being transformed by Dr. Kripa. She's truly passionate. She's a pediatrician, she's a doctor healer, and she genuinely cares about making a difference. So thank you, Dr. Kripa, for joining us. Any parting words that you would like to share to the parents?
My parting thought would be, we have such great techniques that can help, really help our children and help them be their best. And they're really simple, and I hope you take the advantage of these 3 sessions and truly contribute to making your child's future much better.
Yeah. I think that they truly need it, right? Yes, it's not just mastery of concepts when it comes to the standardized test. It's a completely different beast on its own, right? Knowing the subject very well is not enough. The day of the test, your state of mind, the whole thing, the way you perform on that specific day is what matters, right? And the person who manages their stress, overcomes that and delivers is the winner. And this is such a fantastic opportunity that a teacher like you is going to teach somebody to manage the stress, because nobody else talks about it or even provides strategies or techniques or guidance in that, right? It's always, hey, get the best tutor. Hey, practice more. Hey, keep practicing, keep doing this, learn this skill, go to Khan Academy and master this concept. But the thing is, managing your stress is such an important thing that's often overlooked, right? And thank you so much for doing this. My son will certainly be there. I mean, I myself, I'm going to be there to learn your super yoga techniques. I have done healing with Dr. Kripa in the past, and it's been quite transformational. So I know her work, and I'm very, very sure that so many students are going to see a world of difference by going through this three sessions with you, which is quite a steal at $99. It certainly is, right? And I certainly feel like students who are going to take the SATs on August 27th should give it a shot, right? So thank you, Dr. Kripa, and thank you for doing this and offering this at such a critical juncture.
Thank you, Jo. It's truly my pleasure to be of service.
Keeping me safe and sound.